My name is Dawn Lovell, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about customer service and the heart of customer service. Now, with the economic downturn and all the things that's been happening in the economy over the last couple of years, companies have found it necessary to cut budgets, cut staff, and all these things, and somehow it's affected the customer service that they've been providing. Unfortunately, what they don't realize is when you make all of these cuts and it affects customers, and sometimes in a deeper way than they actually believe, because they're thinking, okay, well, if I cut money here and there, then I'm not going to be profitable. But what they don't realize is when you do that, then customers begin to feel it. And when customers feel it, then customers don't want to buy. And when customers don't want to buy, then your business is not going to be successful. So, I'm here to talk about customer service and providing customer service. And what customer service really is taking care of your customer. When you really break it down, a customer is anybody that you provide a service or a good to. And service, it comes from a Latin word called servus, which means slave, and some people may have a problem with the word slave, but it just really means taking care of your customer. And it's so important that businesses understand the need to take care of their customer. That old adage, the customer is always right, is as relevant today as it was how many years ago. I don't know who came up with it, but it is so relevant today, especially in this economy, in this time, in this particular era of owning a business. Firstly, there are so many components that help to make up customer service. Customer service, as I said, is making sure you take care of that customer. Once that customer leaves your presence or your business or your establishment, that customer needs to feel satisfied. They need to be happy. They need to know that whatever it is, what good or service that has been provided meets their requirements. They must feel important. Whether they spent $5 or $5,000, it doesn't matter. And business need to realize that people are what make their business work. Without your customer, you cannot have a successful business. That's it. I mean, it's no clearer than that. You can't have it more thing than that. That's it. Your customer is your business. So let's go through some of the components that help make up good customer service, because I personally have had some really bad customer service in my lifetime, and because bad customer service has always been a pet peeve of mine. If you walk into a store, for instance, and you're looking for a particular product, and you walk up to the attendant, and there are two attendants there, and they're having a conversation, and it looks like they're totally clueless to your existence. Or you ask, well, where can I find X and Y, and they probably point you in the direction, over there in L24 or whatever, and you go, and you're pretty much rambling. You can't find what you're looking for. Now, that's one of the first whatever of bad customer service. You need to be involved. You need to make a connection from the time that customer walks into your business. You need to make that connection. And you know what? It starts with maybe good morning and how are you today? You need to have a conversation. You need to interact. That way that customer knows, you acknowledge that they're there, and they actually feel welcome to walk into your establishment. And that's the first step. A good smile, be courteous, things like that. That's the initiation process. That's how you engage a customer firstly. And then you try to find out what it is that they need. And once you've found out what they need, then you try to find out what's the best way you can help them in providing that need and fulfilling that need. How can you make this customer satisfied? Now, secondly, time. Time is of the utmost importance. Time is one of those things that when it's lost, you can never regain it. And in this day and age, when everything is so fast-paced, you need to be timely when it comes to serving your customers, when it comes to getting a product to them, when it comes whatever. Even, I'm going to give you a classic example. You go to the hair salon and you turn up for an 8 o'clock appointment. You turn up and there are 5 people waiting for an 8 o'clock appointment. So you sit and you wait, and that you get in the chair at what, like 12? And then you're leaving at 5. I mean, your entire day has gone. And that's what businesses need to understand. Time is of the essence. It is so important for you that if you say to a customer, your appointment is at 8 o'clock, that when they get there 8 o'clock, you are ready to go. You are ready to say, okay, you know what, Miss Lovell, sit in the chair, we're ready, let's go. What are you having done today? So time is really, really, really important. Another thing is, keeping your word, being honest, being realistic about time. Let's say, for instance, you have a contractor working on your house, and he says to you, okay, this is going to take 6 months. So 6 months, let's say it's Christmas coming up in 6 months, and you're expecting at Christmas I'm going to be able to move in, I'm going to be able to put up my lights and my curtains and whatever. And in December, what happens? Your house is not finished, the wiring is not done, and you had that expectation. And then, he says to you, well, we're going to need a few more months or a few more weeks in order to do this or to do that. One of the things I've always learned in customer service, always make sure you're realistic when it comes to timelines and give yourself a little extra time. So for instance, if you have a job or you're going to provide a service or whatever for a customer, or even a product, and you've promised them that they're going to get it within a week, even though you know that time is the time that you would usually be able to provide it, let's say add another week onto that and say 2 weeks. Give them the option of being able to say, well, okay, that's too long or whatever. But it gives you time so that just in case anything happens, that you are still within a timeline. You can still provide to that customer within the time that you said you would. So you say, okay, ma'am, it's going to take me 2 weeks to have this done for you. And in a week and a half or in a week, you call them and say, you know what, good morning, Miss Lovell. We have that product that you ordered, and it came in, it came in on time. It came in a little earlier, and we have it here for you. You can pass it, pick it up, we can deliver or whatever. That customer then thinks, you know what, wow, they're so professional. They were able to deliver in less than even the time that they told me. And that's one of the things that's really important in capturing and keeping a customer, because it's important not just to make a first impression, but to make sure that that customer stays with you over the long haul, that you have customers that are loyal, because those are the ones that will build your business and that will maintain your business even through maybe the hard times. So that's what you want to build, customer loyalty. Another thing is to be able to provide a skill or a service that's exclusive, because if you can provide something that the others aren't providing, that your competitors are not providing, then that will put you definitely over the top. Let's say you are doing car parts, you sell car parts or something like that, and your customer comes in and they want a particular part or whatever. You should be able not only to sell them that part, but if you can actually install that part for them, whether it be a car or any other appliance, if you can actually provide that service, then that's great, because they don't have to go somewhere else in order to get that part or whatever they bought installed. So you provide a service like that, and it's about knowing your product. It's about knowing everything about it in terms of how the product operates, the installation, all this thing. It's important that you have information, because once you have that information, then you can guide the customer accordingly. And as well, it's always great when a customer can save some money, because they not only have to come to you to get that, but then they would have to go somewhere else and actually pay to have that done. So if you can provide an all-in-one service, then that is great. Again, that saves time, and everybody wants to save time. Everybody has something to do. If you're like me, you're a mother, you're working, you have 3 children, you have a husband, you have to go home, you have to cook food, you have to do the laundry, and you're a full-time mom, you're a full-time wife, you're a full-time career woman, and all these things, and your time is very important to you. So if I can go somewhere and get an all-inclusive service, then that is great. That saves me time, it saves me money and everything. Another thing that is really, really important in customer service is not only getting that sale and providing that service when the customer buys that product, but the follow-up after they've actually bought the product, because this shows them that, you are not just interested in a sale. Again, hairdressers, I love the hairdresser. I go to a hairdresser all the time. So when you go to a hairdresser, you get the style you wanted, you get it all done, it's finished, it looks nice. And then 2 days later, you're like, oh my God, how do I deal with this? So if you have a hairdresser that she calls you up and she says, you know what, how's the style going? and she gives you some tips on how to maintain it, how to keep it, what you should put on it to keep it looking good until you see her again. That in itself is great. I've had hairdressers that did that with me, and one in particular that I'm still with her today because she provided that service. I went to her once, somebody told her, first of all, she was on time, so I went. Secondly, she was great, so I got the hairstyle I wanted, it suited my face and everything. And then after I left, she called me the next day and she said, well, Miss Level, how's the style holding up? Maybe you can do this, you can do that. I asked her, well, what would you suggest I put on it? What would you suggest I do with it? And she gave me all the recommendations. And you know what? I was sold, because to me, that is service. It's not just that I left her salon and went away feeling satisfied, but even after the fact, she called and she was actually interested in what was going on with me. And for that alone, I stayed with her. So it's really important to take these things into consideration. I like to be practical. It's okay to read a book, or you go into an establishment, it says, okay, customer service, be courteous, be this, be that, and there's this 6 or 5 steps or 7 steps. That's all fine, but when it actually comes to providing customer service, it's a hard thing. You have to understand that your customers are important. They're who pay your bills. If you do not have a customer, you do not have a business. So there are little things that we really have to be careful about in running our businesses. We have to know, again, when you're providing a service, make sure that you can provide that service or a product. Because another thing, one of the other pet peeves is mine, maybe you guys have experienced it. You drive up to any fast food restaurant and you see this really nice picture on the outside saying, oh, well, we have wings today, or whatever, or wings on special, or this, special combo they have. And then you drive up to the window and, can I have the, 3 wings special? And they say, well, sorry, ma'am, we're all out of wings. And you're like, what? Well, that's just crazy. That doesn't make any sense. So now I have to kind of think again, okay, what do I really want to order when I really just wanted wings? So that's another thing. And I'm like, you know what, I'm never going back there because they don't ever have what I want. So it's really important that you only advertise those things that you have, and as soon as they're gone, make sure you pull down any promotions, any ads, or anything like that, because that's very frustrating for a person, wanting something in particular. They're seeing it, they're visualizing it, and then when they get there, you don't have it. So it's really important to take note of these little things. Again, when you go into a business establishment, one of the other things that's really important is, as you wait, as a customer waits, it's good to have maybe some cookies, a cup of coffee, some juice, things like that, especially if the wait is going to be long. Like, for instance, you go to a doctor's office, and doctors take note because they've been to many a doctor and had to sit and wait 2 or 3 hours, and the wait, you just sit and you wait. You read a magazine or whatever. Your throat is dry, you're thinking, well, maybe if there was a glass of juice, there was a cup of coffee, some cookies or something. Those things are things that help to make people comfortable while they wait. So, and again, it all comes back down to time, because I've left many a doctor, changed doctors because of the length of time I had to sit and wait. And all I'm thinking is, okay, I could have put a load of laundry in. Or, where am I supposed to be next? Or I have this is something else going on. I have to take the kids, one of my sons to football. There's always something going on. Or I have to pick up one from cricket or something. There's always something going on. So you have to be so cognizant of your customers' time. Again, as I said, whether they're spending $5, $5,000, it doesn't matter. It matters that your customer at the end of the day is satisfied, that they're happy, that they feel good, that they feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Just this week, I went to Home Depot, I think it was, and we went up to the cash register, we bought some weed killer, and the lady said, but I'm sure there's a special offer, you get another one free, a free refill. And we couldn't find it. She said, but no, I'm sure there is. And she insisted. She told us where to go, and we actually went and we found the one that was on sale. It had a free refill, and it was really, really good to know that, you know what, this is somebody else looking out for you. It's not just about, you know, you come into a business or whatever, you just pick up something and you cash it and go on. This was a cashier, and I mean, she didn't have to do that, but she really insisted, and she said, you know what, I'm sure there's a special going on. If you go to whatever, you know, I'm sure you'll see it there. And we did, and I mean, we were eternally grateful because we saved money, which was good. You know, we got some extra, and that's another thing, value for money. You know, in this day and age where budgets are tight, you know, money in some families is very limited. Anything that you can get as an extra is great. So offer your customers that, highlight things, you know, that can help them. Maybe there's a substitute for what they're using that might be a little less costly, you know, not necessarily not as good, but if you have something that's just as good, that is a little less pricey, things like that, customers appreciate. And I assure you that once you do that, you will have repeat customers. You just treat them the way you want to be treated. I always remember the golden rule: treat others the way you would want to be treated. And if you do that, then you will have customers. Your business will be successful. You will have those people for life. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Dawn Lavelle on the Heart of Customer Service. For more information, you can book us online at dawnlavellespeaks.com.